Hello and welcome to a view from the South Stand. I've got Has with me today, and it's just finished Brighton 0, Spurs 2 at the MX Stadium. So, Has, let's get into it. When you saw the starting lineup, typical Conte lineup, were you confident after the weekend that we were going to get a result tonight?
Yeah, I think he's got to stick with it now. So I think he made the right call by picking the same team.
Yep.
And also, I was saying this to a lot of my mates as well. If you look at the form guide, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, had to be a win, right?
Yeah.
If we're going by that form guide, it had to be a win tonight. So
Yeah.
no, look, I'm glad he started with that formation again. I think we just got to stick with it for some stability until the end of the season. Now, that's my opinion. Yeah.
When Kane and Kulu missed those chances, were you being a typical Spurs fan and going, this is going to come back and bite us in the bum, even though we went 1-0 up at half time?
You know, playing away from home with the current form, you're thinking, that's it. If you don't take these chances now, it's going to come back to bite you in the arse. So,
Yeah.
luckily, I was being a typical Tottenham fan to answer your question, Marlon. Shouting, screaming at the telly, you name it all. But luckily we got that second goal, to be honest. The first one, I must say, we got a bit lucky. It was always going to take a bit of luck to get that first goal because it just felt like the game was going nowhere. It was very stagnant. We were sort of pressing, but not. Was always on that periphery. I think Kane had one shot, missed. He took the shot with his wrong foot. Although he's quite good with both feet, but one shot, and then we was always on that sort of periphery, just not penetrating or anything. And after we got that goal, it sort of settled a little bit, and so lucky in many ways.
Yeah. Brighton came out a little bit more sharper in the second half than they were in the first half and troubled us for about a good 10-15 minutes. Do you think that second goal kind of killed them and came at the right time?
100%. Well, we knew they were going to come out second half.
Yeah.
They had to. They had to. I mean, we've seen it with Spurs. Go 1-0 down, second half will come out. We'll huff and puff a little bit, and then inevitably we'll either concede another one or get an equaliser. But yeah, we knew they were going to come out second half. We rode the storm, and I have to say this. I have to say Romero had a very good game today. Very good game tonight, should I say. Steady at the back. All three tonight were good. Again, do we look too much into it? Because Brighton were a bit all over the place. But I certainly thought he was pushing quite high up tonight as well. More so than I've seen him before. He was up there joining in with the attack, overloading. But yeah, it was a good timing to get the goal again, the second one.
And what did you make of the wing-backs' performances tonight? Do you feel like, looking at that performance tonight, considering it was Brighton, would you go out in the summer and get 2 new ones? Or would you say, let's give them some more game time together now that it's going to probably be these two over the next couple of weeks and see how they get on?
I think, regardless of anything, I still think we need to go out and get a couple of new wing-backs. We'll have to assess it at the end of the season, I think. We have to give Reggie and Doherty some game time. I think keep hold of Emerson and try and don't forget, it's been his breakthrough season with the team. I think keep him there. He's still quite young, so maybe a bit of competition. I think Doherty was a bit quiet tonight. He wasn't, marauding up front. Up top with Kulusevski as much tonight. He had a quiet game, and Reggie, I have to say, for me, he's still a bit lightweight. I think Reggie's a bit lightweight. You can see it. A couple of the 50-50s, a couple of the drills he lost. He was shoved off the ball. We lost position. Against the bigger teams, that's going to hurt us. And I think we need a bit more. Hence, I think Tommy was saying this a couple of weeks ago or last week with Cess, he's got that strength in Cess, which Conte likes, which he prefers. Unfortunately, Cess is injured again. So we have to stick with Reggie. But I think, if it's true that Real Madrid are in for Reggie, I think possibly look into that and get a new left back to for a bit of competition for Cess.
Bentancur and Højbjerg seem to be striking up a bit of a partnership, and actually it seems to be the midfield that's working for us. What are you making of their partnership at the moment?
I think it's working in dribs and drabs. I think against United, they didn't have the worst game. I think it was Bentancur's worst game for us. I think he's only started like 5 games, so you got to give the lad a chance. But I think Bentancur's quality. He was ice cold tonight. I don't know if you saw a couple of instances. He was cornered, ice cool. A couple of skill moves, and he was out. Compliments Højbjerg quite well because they can both drop back a little bit and cover each other. If one wants to step forward, Bentancur is quite comfortable on the ball. He wins possession, and tonight Bentancur really surprised me. There was one challenge inside the box. I think it was quite late on, last 10, 15 minutes. And he went steaming in. I think it was, I'm not sure which player it was. It was a Brighton player. He went steaming in to win the ball. Yeah. I mean, he was great tonight, Bentancur, I think. And Højbjerg didn't really put a foot wrong as well, in my opinion.
I thought the front three started off a bit slow tonight. But Kane and Kulu got better as the game went on. I still feel like there's something up with Son. What did you make of Son's performance tonight?
I think we're beginning to associate Son with that word, I think, anonymous lately, because that's what he was in this game. He was just, he didn't get going today, put it that way. He was very much a passenger today, and that says a lot about Brighton as well, because we didn't even have Son on fire tonight, and we still got the 2 goals and we got the win. But he was very much a passenger. He just didn't get going. He was still sort of making these runs, looking for the balls over the top. But I think where Brighton are quite rigid, it was never going to sort of work. And a couple of instances where Davies was sort of getting forward, and there was the ball there to Son, but he was sort of cutting it across or giving the ball back. So, yeah, whether there's something there, I'm not going to say it's tiredness, because, you haven't got any midweek games, any other commitment, so to speak. So you can't even blame that. So I think he's just suffering a loss of form at the moment. And I think it was the right decision to take him off and put Lucas on late on, save him for the West Ham game.
Do you think that teams are now wising up to the Kane and Son situation? So a lot of teams are making sure that Son is not making those runs. He's not going in behind. When Kane gets the ball in that middle of the park, the first thing that their defense is concentrating on is Son. Do you think that's part of the reason for Son's drop in form recently? Because obviously in the last few weeks, it's all been highlighted how good they are together. And also, do you think that, and another question onto that is, do you also, since Conte's come in, Son has produced some of the goods, but he's probably not been the Son we're all used to. Do you think it's the tactics that Conte's playing for the drop in form for Son as well?
Yeah, I think to answer the first one, I think teams have looked at that. Last few games, a few weeks back, they were on fire. Kane dropping deep, Son making the runs. As the opposition, you're going to look at that and think, right, let's keep it tight at the back. Let's not give him any space to make those runs. And that's what's been happening. It's forcing Spurs to play a different style. To play to try different avenues, so to speak. And I think where Son's been so used to that sort of partnership, making those runs, I think he's finding it a bit difficult to sort of come in and then, so I do think it is very much a case where opposition sussed it out kind of, and it's something I think he's going to have to work on with Conte in the summer, perhaps to integrate him into that system, the 3-4-3, 3-5-2, because we never used to play wing backs before, pushing so high up. So now you're getting the likes of Davies pushing up with Reggie on that left hand side. Son tends to come in a little bit, and it's just not working out for him, I think. But sorry, Marlon, the second question, the tactics, I think I incorporate that pretty much into it. But it is pretty much the tactics sort of wearing thin a little bit on Son. And I think, you look at it and you think, what other options do we have? Do we bring Lucas in his place? Do we bring Bergwijn in? you think to yourself, are they going to be any better? You know, arguably, if
Well,
you
this
look
was
at
going to be my next question. You know, considering Son's form and considering how big the game is on Sunday, would you still pick him, or would you put him on the bench for the first half and bring him on?
listen, big match, big players. That's what you need. It doesn't matter at the moment. It doesn't matter that Son's not firing on all cylinders. Okay,
No,
make no mistake about it. If you put Son on the pitch, they will be worried about Son, whether
of
he's on
course,
form or not. You know, you're giving them an extra problem. You know, you've got Son, Kane, Kulu on pitch. You're giving West Ham problems. So yeah, I would 100% stick with him. 100%. Obviously, if it continues to the summer, sort of look into it in the summer and sit down, Sonny, and talk with Sonny. What's going on? You know, what's your thoughts? How can we sort of accommodate you and change things around? But 100% you're going to start him. No question about it.
And obviously, Arsenal losing tonight now. Game's been confirmed. Top four on, top four off, or does it depend on the West Ham result?
Right, Marlon, I'm trying not to get too excited here because the first thing I did, as soon as the match finished, I turned it over. As soon as I turned it over, Liverpool scored that second goal, and I was like, it's on. It is on.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too carried away because we know at the weekend, one defeat, and we just deflated again, and we're back to square one. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself. But look, listen, the table doesn't lie. We're 3 points behind Arsenal now. They've got the game in hand. We know. We've got a game in hand over West Ham, and we're level on points at the moment. So it's game on. This weekend's gonna, I think it's going to be the real barometer of where we are and if we're going to make that top four. But Arsenal's got some hard games. They've got Chelsea. They've got us to play. So it's not over by any stretch of the imagination. But then you look back at it and you think, you start to rue all those missed chances. All the teams that we've lost to.
Yeah.
Imagine if we beat Wolves and Southampton. We could have even afforded. We could have even afforded to lose against Man United had we won those. Let's be honest. So yeah, I think it's game on. I think it still is. But after this weekend, I might give you a different answer. So
yeah. And the last question of the night, I always ask my guests this: who was your man of the match tonight and why?
Interesting one because. If it's just based on second half, I'd say I would have said Kane.
Yeah.
Right. The fact is, he had a pretty poor first half. He was dispossessed so many times, and I was thinking, what's Kane up to? Like, he's losing like every ball. He's lost it. And I think here we go. He's not going to be firing tonight. But if it's based on second half, Kane. However, I think Romero put in a very good shift tonight. I have to give him credit for that. He stepped up and he did his job, dutifully, so to speak. He was bombing forward. He was coming back. He was, keeping his nose clean. He was still going in with those hard tackles, but he was sort of keeping it on the periphery of not getting a yellow card sort of thing. So I think he had a good game, and I've got to give a special mention also to Eric Dyer as well. If Tommy watches this, I know Tommy, you can diss me all you like, mate, but listen, he got clattered tonight on the head, and he went out there and he was still heading those balls, and he was putting his body on the line as well. So I think Dyer had a good game as well, but I'd go with Romero. But you could argue also Kane as well for that second half performance. And a special mention of before we wrap everything up to Kane as well, because 95 goals, top. I believe he's now the all-time highest scoring player in the Premier League in away games. So the guy just breaks records, isn't he? Might not win trophies, but he breaks records.
He's breaking records.
There we go.
Thank you for your time today. Anybody who's watching, please like and subscribe, and please follow us on YouTube and Instagram. And as we always finish on, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.